we have Dan on the line with us, and we are about to talk about agencies, digital agencies.
Guys?
Yes, and here's what's going to be exciting. You know, now that everybody's going digital, and now more than ever forced to be digital, it's one of those things where what does it take to build a digital agency, and what does it take to have the right digital agency represent your business? Dan, I know you've heard all the, you can become a millionaire today, start your own agency, and
of course,
and all that. So I appreciate you coming on the show and talking with the listeners and sharing your insights.
Yep.
So tell me, how did you get started with the digital agency?
Well, first of all, Carmen, thank you for having me on. And I wanted to say that about your comment about becoming a millionaire with web design agency and so on. You know what? It is possible. I'm not going to lie. Like if you're crazy enough to commit and be passionate about what you do, you are able to make it happen. I'm not like, it's all about works. It's not easy. Yeah. That's the difference. Like a lot of the courses and gurus and all I see is just download the template, start an agency, you're going to make millions of dollars. It's not how it works. I've been developing my business for 6 years and still finding issues, still finding a way to refine it. And to answer your questions, how I started, everyone's story is a little bit different, of course. I was fresh from university and I wanted to do something in the industry that I had an interest in, and I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to have the flexibility, of course, to do whatever I want. And obviously, at the time, freelancing and online and like having your own thing was like something that I was always really admiring and wanted to do. Yeah. And I just literally went in. I just started. I was like, here, I'm good at making websites. Let me list my services. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Craigslist. We have here in Canada. There's many other sites. There's Kijiji. There's so many different platforms. Essentially, classified ads. Yeah. And you go on that site, and all I did is I literally posted my services. Here's what I offer. Here's my number. Okay. And back then, I put together something that if I look back at right now, I'd be very embarrassed by. But I put together a quick site, very quick landing page, just to have some kind of a portfolio showing, so that when a client comes in, they actually can look at something. Okay. And literally, that was the start of the journey. So there's no secret sauce here. The first step was just to take it. And I jumped in and got the first client, and then I got the second client. And the main thing was, in my head was, as soon as I get 3 clients, I now have a business. Oh, okay. That was my motto back then. It was like, and matter of fact, right now too, if you start any business, as soon as you get 3 clients, you have some sort of a business going on. Because with 3 clients, you can get 2-3 reviews. You can have 3 pieces of portfolio, provided all 3 went decent, right? Now you have 3 pieces of portfolio. You have 2 to 3 reviews, hopefully. That's more than enough to start generating some sort of, eyes looking at your stuff. And hopefully you get at least 1 referral out of the 3. Now you have a 4th client, and so on. The spiral keeps rolling. And while you're working on those, you're still advertising yourself, hopefully getting more clients. So that's really how I started. There's no secret here, and that's just my process. The idea here is that it's hard, and there's so much competition, and all those self-doubts definitely were there. Okay. But I don't want to say bad words here, but I just said, F that, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. And really, it's good that you mentioned that, because one of the problems I've found with being in business is looking for the right time, the ideal situation. And really, there's very rarely an ideal situation. Right now, I'll tell you, right now is like the most ideal time to do it. Like we're living in a time right now where we have a big problem in the world, and everyone is going digital. Yeah. Literally every business, every restaurant that couldn't figure out before to go online, now they go online. So every construction worker that doesn't have any construction to do has to think of something online, right? Yeah. Matter of fact, our job now is to come up with ideas for them. So not only we get a project out of that, but we also help and advise and grow their business. That's true. So our role starts to shift a little bit too. But we're moving a little bit far, advanced stuff. I'm talking more, if you want to start and your worry was there's a lot of competition, this is the best time to do it, because there's a lot of competition, but there's also much more demand for it. That is true.
That is true. Because I remember when I had a web firm in the early 2000s, my biggest challenge was businesses saying, well, I've been doing this way for 10, 20 years. Why would I need a website? It was convincing them the fact that they needed a website. Now you don't even have to really convince them that they need a website. It's more of what type of website and what do you need in your website.
Sure.
So this.
And I'll add to that too. Back when I started and still to this day, I don't know why it's something in my head that way. I don't like to convince people. I don't like to sell hard.
Yeah.
I'm not in the car industry where I'm trying to make you buy a car.
Yeah.
I don't need you to not leave the lot without the sale. You know what I mean? That's not the point here. I even say, like, this is a sentence I used in my sell technique, so to speak. I hope this budget fits you. I don't want you to get into anything that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I literally would say to the client, I'd rather you not take the deal if it's not fitting your requirements, if it's not fitting your budget, then take it and be upset the whole way. Because that's going to be a nightmare client.
So it's different than when we used to sell cars. I used to sell cars a long time ago. And the thing that we used to always say is, what can I do to get you in the car today? It was a total different way of approaching it.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I would say that, like, hey, what can I do to earn your business?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the idea here is, I don't need to pressure you to get to sell your website.
Yeah.
If you don't see the investment opportunity for your own business, then I did something wrong as it is. Like, this is not buying a toy, like a car or whatever. This is like investing in your business.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Some of them is their savings. Some of them is a big portion that their boss didn't authorize to spend yet, right? So it could be many factors, and it's in my best interest to align their thinking to make sure that not only it makes sense for them to invest into the business, but it's also like they believe that this is going to help. And hopefully, obviously, I do my job to fulfill that.
Yeah. Now, that brings me to this point. When businesses are looking to expand by having a website, what are some of the key things that they should keep in mind when it comes to hiring the right agency to handle that for them?
That's a great question. I actually had that we have that in an article on our website, breakdeal.com. Essentially, the basics of it is the main thing that I would look for. Gut feeling. First of all, right?
Okay.
That's one of the first points I look at before I make any purchase. How do I feel about this?
Okay.
Like, do I trust the person? Does he look credible?
Yeah.
Right? If I met with a person face to face, do they give me the vibe that they know what they're talking about? Before I even look at their portfolio. Now, obviously, part of my due diligence as a customer, if I'm about to spend some money on any service, I want to do my research. I want to go and see the reviews. I want to see what their portfolio looks like. I want to read a little bit about it, see their past case studies and what they've done. Are they being active at all? Like, are they posting like on social media? Or is it just a one-off, like once a year post?
Okay.
Like, I want to see how serious they are, right?
Yeah.
Right. So and all those things, obviously, is things that I do for my own company. So if I want client to feel that I'm relevant, that I'm up to date with the design standard, right, that I can handle all the strategy aspect of things and make sure we deliver good results for them, then obviously I want to make sure I'm up to date with my stuff, right? I post a relevant article. My design is actually reflecting what I'm talking about. If I tell clients that they should revamp their site, I better be revamping my site as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Believe in your own craft. So that's the things that a customer should be looking at, is everything they're preaching and saying and like the goals they're talking about, the strategies, are they doing it?
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. Now when it comes to that, here's something that I know that you struggle with. How is I guess you would say, portions or rations of design look versus functionality versus the strategy with the website? Because I know when I used to do websites, it was heavy on the design and light on the functionality. But your website is what I usually would tell clients. It is another employee. It basically should do a job for you. And a lot of times I think, we get so caught up in designs, but you're doing it now in the present, what have you seen as far as that ratio?
So what others are doing compared to what we're doing, that's what I'm going to answer. I know others are focused on just delivering the project. They're focused on, here's the checklist, what we have to do. We're just going to deliver it. We're going to make a pretty site, make sure it does this checklist to the point and deliver it.
Yeah.
What we focus on is a lot of everything that you said. So strategy is first, right? We want to make sure that, like you said, the website has to do a job here, and his job is to be a salesperson 24/7. Nobody's going to do that job better than the website will. Like the website, when you're sleeping, it's promoting you. When you're eating, it's promoting you. It's always doing that, right?
Yeah.
So the point is that the strategy that we come up with, we have literally a step-by-step process that we come up with the design aspect of it. Yes, we want it to look good. We want it to look modern. We want to follow the criteria as far as the design goes aesthetically from the client. But we also want to make sure that it does its job as far as converting people. So where is the click to action? Like, what is this thing that we want the person to do when they land on the site? Do we want them to follow a certain process from the top to bottom of the site? Do we want them to go to another page? Do we want them to sign up to something? Right? So that's a big consideration. And then, so once we align the wireframe, and I actually have a post on Instagram about this. Once we have the wireframe set up, once we have the design established, then we go into development. Functionality is tied in really much about what the goals of the website is.
Okay. Yeah. So you're taking it from the goal first and then building to meet the goal versus let's make pretty designs and try to make something work within that design.
I believe that should be for every industry. If I want to buy a car because you're in the car industry in the past, you want to find out what my goal is before I buy this car, right? You want to understand me a bit first, right?
Yeah.
Do I want a performance car? Do I want a luxury? Do I want comfort? What is it that I'm looking for?
That's true. But we sell a lot of nice looking cars just because they are nice looking. And
sure, that's a different goal, right? I just want a nice looking car. That's a goal.
Yep, I just want to be seen.
Yeah, like some people will sacrifice comfort just to have a good looking car. Like I know personally some friends that have good looking cars, but I've been inside of them and it's just not something that I would want because it's not comfortable.
Yes, I have as well. I have definitely.
Right. So it comes down to, what is your goal? Are you here to drive that car and impress people, or are you here to enjoy it with your family? What is your goal?
That's true. That is true. So with, the industry changing so much, with all the website builders and so forth, how has that complex firms like yourself that are looking for goal-oriented, strategic design, because when sometimes you can have your industry dumbed down in a sense, because
of course, but it always has been.
Just build it on this platform.
It always has been, right? We have Wix, we have Squarespace, Weebly, there's all like GoDaddy Builder. There's so many of those, right?
Yeah.
And by all means, every time a client will build one of those sites, 90% of the time, those clients that call, they're calling because they could not achieve something they want to do. They're not happy with it, and they never were in love with it from the start. They just did it because it was fast, quick, and cheap, right?
Yeah.
Most people that use those builders understand that it's the quick route, and they know it's not the professional route. And that's the point of those platforms, to make it simple and quick to set something up. Like, let's put it this way, if you're a construction worker that does not care about your site, right, and you barely ever go on it, all you need is just have a website just for the sake of it, because you have clients going on it, then you know what? Yeah, maybe you don't need a professional, expensive website. Maybe you do need a basic Wix website.
Yeah.
Right? And that's fine, because you're not my client in this case.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want to be working with someone that doesn't believe in what I do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to talk about the ideal client. Right? How do you find an ideal client? And that takes time to get to that point, right? I didn't jump into the business thinking I'm only going to work with my ideal client, exactly what I want. First of all, because I didn't know what my ideal client was. Second of all, because I would be happy that any client called.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? When I started. Now I'm in a position where I had too many leads calling, and I can pick and choose. So I'm in a better place.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. And, for those up and coming and starting out, I would like to say it's always a journey. I know a lot of times we're getting taught the destination, and we're so focused on that destination that we don't understand. In business, it is a journey. So if you can enjoy that journey, that process, it's a lot easier to take the bumps and the bruises and the success and rewards than it is to think that if it's a final destination, if I don't make a final destination, then I didn't succeed.
That's right.
So that is key. What other, like in the 6 years, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what other things have you seen over the past 6 years? Because it has changed a lot over the past 6 years.
I've seen quite a bit of things. Are you asking more from the perspective of the website industry, or from like interesting things that happen in my growth of my company?
Oh man, I think they would kind of tie, but you know, let's talk the industry first and then tie in your company.
Sure. So industry-wise, a lot of the expectations have changed.
Okay.
People want fast-loading websites, simple, minimalist. They want very modern-looking. Mobile is a huge one now. Everyone cares about mobile mostly.
Yeah.
The first thing to look at too before they even look at the website on the desktop.
Yeah.
Search engine is a big one. I've noticed more and more people starting to understand what SEO stands for.
Yeah.
Right. So before, when I had to always say search engine optimization, now I can say SEO. And a lot of them actually start to understand what and how SEO works, which is great. I don't have to explain it to every client.
Yeah.
They understand it's something to do with Google ranking. They understand that it's important to be ranked there. I don't have to explain or convince them why they want to be ranked. Right.
Yeah.
Before, it used to be like, we have to build your proper website structure so that it goes up on Google over time. You want to make sure you're first. And they just didn't understand why it's important. Now it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Right. So that's from that aspect. From my own company, I've gone through so many changes, from realizing that I need to niche down, right, to realizing that I need to. Back then, I used to send 2-page contract, first page breakdown, second page sign here.
Yeah.
And now I'm sending a 30-page proposal.
Okay.
Right. There's quite a bit of reasoning behind it. The main one was to show my process, to show I'm professional, to show I'm serious about this. Okay. Sending somebody a quote for 20 grand on a 2-page paper doesn't make sense in their head.
Yeah.
Like if I'm about to spend 20 grand, I want to get a folder that thick. To make me feel like I just got something big. You know what I mean? And you know what? There is psychology behind it. But also, this document is actually helpful. It's a legal binding contract. It has a lot of breakdown in it. It shows what we're capable of, so that if anything goes sideways, they have some leverage too if they're paying that kind of money.
Yeah.
Both sides have to be on the same page. So I learned that, obviously, over time. The other thing I learned, and this was not a recent, but something that kind of a quote, so to speak, if you haven't been sued, you haven't made it.
Really?
If you haven't been sued at all, you haven't made it.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, okay, well, I've been threatened to be sued like 3 or 4 times in my 6 years.
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? Like, the idea here is don't do bad stuff. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that you'll get that one client that's just a pain, right?
That's true.
There's just no way around it. No matter how great a customer service you do, no matter how much you bend over for someone, they'll still find a way to not be happy. And sometimes it leads to the lawyer word, and there's nothing you can do about it but try to mitigate and try to get out of the situation, right?
Yeah.
So it happens. Like 6 years plus, I'm surprised it only happened 3 or 4 times.
So you basically have to build a tough skin when it comes to that.
Tough skin, but not necessarily in the sense of arguing, more in the sense of knowing how to protect yourself and knowing that morally you're correct.
Yeah.
Like in my head, from what I've done, I know damn well from the beginning to end that there was nothing wrong on my end for them to act the way they did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And even like there was a specific case where literally I found out through another member of the firm by accident, I don't think he meant to tell me this, that they were shutting down. And that's the reason, without an explanation, why they wanted a full refund. Right? So to me, that was, well, I didn't get an explanation why. What did we do wrong? And I also offered to redo everything from scratch without extra charges. And they still wanted a full refund. So to me, that was, one of those things that in business, this is the first big, you get the first big project, and the first big project wants the full refund, something is not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So that's when I had the big learning curve. That was like 3 years ago. I was like, I got my biggest project today as my record. They want a full refund. What's going on? Let me figure this out. And that's when I start to adjust my contract, adjust my expectation setting, right?
Yeah.
Adjust my communication with the client. So a lot of those changes took place, and that's when things really started to improve. Let alone my rates have improved, my my communication, my quality of service improved. Like it just adjusted so many different things.
Wow. So that was a big learning experience for you.
Well, you bet. Like if somebody threatens to sue you, and they want a pretty large portion of the money they paid you back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm not talking like $100, $200. I'm talking a big one.
Yeah.
Like 5 figures. So like those 5 figures were put somewhere already. Like they were putting in this bank. They were put like expenses for the company, right? They're being used. They're not just sitting there.
And
so
you
now they
don't
want
get
it
that
back.
time back. Yeah.
Now they want it back when the contract says no deposit, non-refundable.
Yeah.
And without an explanation, you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn, well, like, what if this happens again? How do I mitigate that?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. How do I go about making sure that this in the future doesn't repeat itself? What can I add to the contract? What can I add in my communication with them so next time this does not happen?
Exactly. And those are the learning curves that if you're enjoying the process of it, it won't mentally shut you down.
And like I said at the very beginning, this is like, you gotta be super passionate and crazy to continue. And this is entrepreneurship, right? This is not something you can do a couple hours a day and run this agency. Like, you gotta wake up thinking about it, go to sleep thinking about it, if you want to actually get that 1 million that we were talking about at the beginning.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Dan, thanks so much for all the insight that you brought. Hopefully, you listeners have learned a lot about this, and this will help you as you start to decide which path you want to take with your career and your journey. If you are looking to have a website design, Dan, let them know how they can contact you. I know that you have a filtering process, but let them know how they can get in contact.
Sure. Well, our website, bregdeal.com. I hope you'll put it in the description somewhere so it's easy to link. Our email support at bregdeal.com, easy to remember as well. Our number or email is on the contact form is on the website, so feel free to reach out. My personal Instagram, if you want to check out the content I'm releasing, dan.brag for Instagram. Our company's website, Bregdeal, same for Instagram. So very easy to find us really for every aspect. And we're happy to work with different clients depending on what the industry is, of course. Right now, our main focus is on a healthcare industry because obviously what's going on, and just in general, we enjoy those type of clients. Like, we know we're helping the good cause. We work with nonprofits a lot. We do take construction type of clients, obviously not right now, but in general we do.
Hopefully in a couple of weeks that'll open back up.
Restaurants are something that we work with as well, but not as much. But the ones that we do obviously shut down at the moment. So there's definitely shifting, but healthcare and finance industries are the main ones for now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all the insights that you have. And I look forward to seeing more and more from you. And I look forward to the audience. I look forward to you growing your business. So this has been the Marketology session, the marketing strategy session. And hopefully everyone's having the best of success and staying safe.
Yes, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I appreciate you having me on.
Great.